Right, let's talk about the creeper effect. This is one of the most dangerous things that can ever happen to you as a man. It's the 1% decline. So I've always spoken to you guys about the aggregation of marginal gains and how you can go up by 1% in every area and you can go to a level in life that you never thought you could get to. And then the aggregation of improving so much in so many different areas puts you at a level where across the board, you are actually overall the best candidate. You actually become the type of guy that is strong in all areas. And when you add it all up, you win. But nobody ever talks about the decline. And I'm 33 years old. And I'm telling you guys now, we don't get bad at stuff. And we don't really get old. We just stop doing it. You know, the people always say, nah, I'm getting older, I've got back pain. Or I can't have as much sex as I used to in my 20s. And then people will say things like, I'm not fat. I'm not getting fat. What are you talking about? I'm in good shape. I'm in good shape. I've always been in good shape. Where all these things come from is the creeper effect, where life slowly gets you via the most dangerous thing that is possible to humans, which is time. And you don't realize that it's happened. It's so slow. It's 1% per year, 2% per year. It's so small, but it's the creeper effect. You don't even realize that it's happened. I'll give you an example. You're at school and you've got a six-pack. You're one of the jock type guys. You play on the rugby team, football team, basketball team, the, American football style team, and you're shredded. And everyone knows you as being shredded and the guy who's in shape. And you're like 11% body fat, okay? Then you leave school, it doesn't really go as planned, and you go and get a normal job and all this stuff, right? You go into normal life. A year down the line, you're 12% body fat. Nobody's going to notice that. Nobody's not an expert who's not looking for it is going to notice that you've put on 1% body fat. And it's been a year, so it's been so gradual. And then you've been sat at your desk a little bit longer, year 2, you go up to 13. And in your eyes, you're still the shredded guy because that was your identity. It's stuck in your head. I'm the shredded guy. So every time you go out, every time you see people, every time you walk into a club, you're thinking to yourself, I'm the guy who's in shape. I'm shredded. I'm in great shape. And then people ask you, what body fat percentage are you? And you say, oh, like 11. I'm like 11. They go, yeah, because they are so fat themselves. The average person doesn't look that lean. And you might even say, let's say it goes up another year, 3 years later, it goes up to 13, 14% body fat. That's still pretty lean if you've got the muscle to go with it. And under the right lighting, you just, oh no, it's just the lighting. We all make these mini excuses. And if somebody said, what body fat percentage are you? You would say, I used to be 11, I might be 12 now, who knows, but I'm definitely, I'm still lean and whatnot, but it's just because I'm not playing sports anymore. It's creeping. It's creeping. And then a year later, you're 15 and you still haven't realized and you're wondering why, hey, I'm not getting as much attention as I used to. Am I getting older? Is it because I'm older? Am I over the hill? Do I need to settle down and find a woman? Like, this is weird. It's like, I still look the same, I'm still me, but like, oh, maybe it's because I'm getting older. Maybe I've got more wrinkles and stuff like that. You don't realize that you've gained like 5% body fat and you've gone from super athlete at 11 to around about 16% body fat in 5 years. It's because it's the long game. In 5 years, you don't really notice it. In 5 years, you still think you look the same. And that's why it's so good to keep before and after pictures, because it's not until you look back where you go, oh my God, like I've gotten fat. I didn't actually realize how much that had changed my face. I didn't realize how much that had changed my body. You're telling people I'm like maybe 11, 12% body fat because that's what's been stuck in your head all your life. And it's like, no, in reality, you're like 16. You're pushing 17 actually at the end of this year. And that's how it happens. And then one day the guy wakes up, he's 20% body fat. And in his head, he's the sporty guy. He's the athletic guy. And people are saying, well, you've got like a dad bod. And his kids are like, yeah, dad, you're like kind of chubby. You got a little bit of fat, but not. And he's like, wait, what? Because I remember it happened to me. I've told you guys this before. I was at this house party and I said to this girl that I had a six pack. And she was like, oh, let's see. So I pulled up my shirt and she goes, no. I was only like 18, 19. But when I was like 11, 12, 13, 14, I remember I had a six pack without trying. And then as you get older, it creeps up on you. And for somebody else seeing it for the first time, it was like, no, you don't. For me, I was like, yeah, I do. It's still there because it's all I'd ever known. And we trick ourselves. It's our actual belief system. It's not real. And I call it the creeper effect, and it works with absolutely everything. It's how people decline very slowly. In the past, you might have exercised for, let's just pull a figure out of our arse, 8 hours a week. And that drops to 7.5. And then you get a bit busier and it drops to 7. And then you're really busy. You got a couple kids, you got whatever, and it's down to like 3.5. And you're like, no, I exercise 6 days per week. And what we do is we lie to ourselves. And it's like, you might be going 6 times per week, but you're doing 30 minutes each time. Or you might only go 3, but because you're used to going 6, you just tell people 6, and you're like, in your head, we all do this. We're like, oh, I'll get back to it though. I'll get back to it. I do 6. It's just not recently I've done. We all do this shit. You know, when it comes to maybe when you're first dating your wife or your girlfriend at the time, and she eventually became your wife, you were having sex all the time, you were going down on her 4 or 5 times a week, you two were going out for dates and stuff, you were taking care of her, and then that effort drops by about 1% every month, because you get used to being with her. And it drops, and you're like, oh, she'll always love me regardless. And the effort just gets a little bit lower, and your fitness gets a little bit lower, and your sex is a bit worse, and your dick is 1% weaker. And over time, that adds up. And just by about 5 years, 6 years down the line, you're just not fucking her like you used to. You're not spending the time with her like you used to. And she cheats on you, or she leaves, or she whatever. And then guys go, why would she do that? I did everything for her, I can't believe it. And it's like, because you just drop your standards by 1% every single month. You just let it get a little bit easier. You know, it's the big one with aging, with the back pain and stuff like that, is you just stop taking care of yourself. You stop doing the things that you used to do. You stopped going to the gym. You stopped going for a walk. You stopped sitting with good upright posture. You stopped doing your skincare. You stopped taking care of yourself. You stopped going to the sauna and the spas and stuff like that. And you just have to drop it all by a tiny little bit, and it has a major effect on the way that you look. Same with money. If it's like, I don't know what happened to the business. It's like, no, you started making a bit of money and you were starting leaving early on a Friday. You took a half day on a Monday because you were tired in the morning. It's just that little effect. Ever so slowly it creeps in. And like I said, we don't get bad at stuff. We just stop doing it. People ask me all the time, you're 33 years old. Are you feeling the back pain or anything yet? And I'm like, no. No, like I'm the strongest I've ever been by far. I hit about 7 PBs last month. Not that it matters, but it's the strongest I've ever been. You guys saw me do the sprint race recently on the beach. 33 years old, still feel mega quick. I'm still able to do muscle ups. I'm still able to do calisthenics over the bar and spin and all this shit. And like everything's there. I mean, I still feel as good in the bedroom and stuff. It's just like nothing's changed. And the reason is like I still got as much energy, if not more, than I used to have, because I haven't got bad habits anymore. And people are like, oh, have you felt it kick in yet? It's just like, no, because my creeper effect hasn't kicked in. I haven't let it. I'm still drinking 4 liters of water per day. I'm still staying on top of what I need to do. I don't want to be making these videos right now. You guys know I did all these in preparation. If you're watching this right now, I recorded it about 3-4 months ago. I've done probably 40-50 videos over the space of like 3 days, 4 days. I don't want to be recording this right now. I'm just sick of doing these videos, but I'm doing it for the love of the game. And I know if I let that creeper effect come in and I go, you can take a week off, you can do this, you keep letting that in over time. And before you know where you are, your standards have dropped. You see it in sports all the time. When a certain team doesn't press, and I mean like closing the ball down, trying to get the ball off. Like in American football, you call it like a blitz. In football, we call it like a press, like a Gegen press or something. You chase after the ball, you close it down. If that drops by like 1% every week, the effort, you don't really notice. But halfway through the season, you're not pressing as much. You're running, let's say, 12% less. And it might not even be noticeable. You're like, we are running. I feel like it's, when you look at the statistics, it tells you everything you need to know. The difference is outside of sports, you don't have sports science, you don't have data, you don't have statistics, you don't have somebody to track it and tell you, actually, you're not running like you used to. I need you to put more effort in. Your fitness has actually dropped by about 3% and it's showing on the field. You don't have that. So you have to manage yourself all the time. You have to catch it before it declines. And it's hard to spot because, like I said, it's 1% per year. And at 21, you're shredded. And at 29, you kind of look in the mirror and you go, huh. You know, somebody takes a picture of you side on and you're like, yeah, maybe I did gain a little bit of weight. There's a little bit of something under here. I didn't have that before. Do you know what I mean? It just creeps up and you go, my face doesn't quite, I don't remember myself looking like that. And people are like, yeah, that's how you look, because they've gotten used to you over time. But in your head, you have this different picture of how you look, and it's so important to stay on top of it. There used to be a Drake line, which I said, if you haven't got it, I used to say this to you guys all the time. It was like, if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. The theory is brilliant, or something along those lines. And sometimes the computer's not working because it's not plugged in. Right. And people get really confused as to like, why am I not getting results? Why am I not? And it's like, because the creeper effect just dragged you down. You're just not putting in the effort that you used to. It's not as good as it used to be. There's nothing worse, okay? There's nothing more embarrassing than meeting like the old jock from high school, and he's just not looking the way he used to look, and he's trying to relive his youth, and he still tries to like treat you like you were some second-rate kid at school and he was the popular one. And it's like, no, buddy, a lot's changed. Like, you really let yourself go. Like, what are you trying to do here? But he'll never let that image go. Because it was too easy for him. He just had this belief that he was top dog. And when you believe you're top dog, you get lazy. You've always got to have that underdog mindset. I mean, you look at something like Cristiano Ronaldo. He's nearly 40 years old. He's still scoring goals for fun. He's still in the best shape imaginable. He's got like a few wrinkles here now, but he's nearly 40. Like, he looks fantastic. And it's because he hasn't let his standards slip for a day. He had a schedule at his peak at 28, and he never stopped. He just built up to that, realized that was the perfect formula to get peak performance, and he's just kept it going. And he spends money on his health still. And whereas most people see their age as like a factor. They go, okay, I'm 35 now. I better stop doing this. I better stop lifting heavy because I'm going to end up injuring myself. I'm going to turn to something else. I'm going to just slow it all down. You know, I haven't got the energy levels that I used to have. And this is the catalyst. I've told you this in business before. It's a perpetual loop that feeds itself. You go, we didn't make as much money this year. We're going to have to spend less. Because you spent less, you don't make as much money because the business service isn't as good. And then you go, well, we made less money this year. We better spend less. It just keeps fucking going. And it's the same when it comes to like a man's life. He goes, oh, I'm feeling more tired because of how he's been living. He's been eating a little bit more shit food. He's not been sleeping as good. He's let the creeper effect come in by 1 or 2%. And he goes, it's because I'm getting older. I better like calm things down a little bit. I can't do as much as I used to. Because he's not doing as much, his body now gets more tired, so he's doing less. It just keeps going. Whereas I think if you're tired as a man, you should probably go for a run, go and lift some weights, go and do something. If you're tired, it's more of like I'm just feeling like shit today kind of mindset. Or if you're tired, it's because you had some shit food. If you're tired, drink a liter of water, then see how you feel. If you're tired, you just, your habits aren't as good as they used to be. Like, believe it or not, as crazy as it sounds, if you don't go to the gym, the quality of sleep is poorer, and then you're going to be more tired. How backwards is that? People would go, if you're tired, take a break. And it's like, no, if you're tired, you should probably try and up your energy levels from training or like doing something productive. And then what will happen is you'll go to bed earlier, you'll be in a motivation kind of loop, you'll get up, you'll do it again, and before you know who you are, you'll have more energy. When was the last time you went for a run, did some sprints and stuff? Your body's just declining by 1%. You have to stay on top of it, otherwise it'll just fade away. There's nothing worse than a guy who used to be like a former boxer, or he used to be strong or some shit like that, and he tries to arm wrestle some young guy and gets slammed, and he looks confused as to like, wait, hang on a minute, I used to be good at this. It's just whatever you don't do, you get bad at, and whatever you do, you stay good at or get better at. It's so simple, it's ridiculous, but it's the creeper effect. It's about 1% to 2% every year, and it goes under the radar. You don't notice it. If you get worse by 1% in something, you're not going to know. If your testosterone drops by 1%, you're not going to notice it. And it's about 8, 9, 10 years down the line where you go, oh, my back's aching and I can't really get a hard on anymore for my wife. And it's like, yeah, it seems like they go, just hit 35 and all these problems just hit me. 35's the age. And it's like, no, don't you realize it's the 1% every year? Like, people get cancer and they go, just one of those things, you hit 42 years old and your body just starts to break down. And it's like, no, you've been tearing your body down since you were 21 by 1%. You've been eating shit food, drinking alcohol, Uber Eats. You've been, wanking yourself to oblivion. And then by the time you get to 42, your body's just like, we've done about 20 years of this. We're fucked. And then that's when you get the illnesses. Everyone likes to blame it in business as well, or success or whatnot. They're like, I would be successful, but the last year has just been so tough. It's not fair. Like, you had an easy year. My year's been hard. And it's like, success isn't determined by the last year. Success is determined by the last 15, 20 years. Don't make an excuse for something that you didn't do 10 years ago. Because when you were going out partying, I was working. So it's like, that's why I'm getting lucky now. People go, it's all right for you. And it's like, it's not all right for me. I was increasing my 1% every year for the last 10 years, whereas you were going out getting drunk and destroying yourself. That's why the creeper effect is the most dangerous thing on planet Earth, especially for men. I think women can get away with it for a little bit longer, but for men, you drop your standards for a second and it will destroy you. The one I always use for you guys as an example is you're 21, she's 21. She invites you out to go and get drunk every weekend. You're going out partying, or 18, let's say, right? You're going out partying. And you're like, this is fun. All the hot girls want me to come out. And you're drinking, you're partying, you're dancing. Maybe you get laid and stuff, and it's great. And you're like, I want this to continue forever. This is amazing. You're convincing all your friends, let's go out this weekend. The problem is, if a woman puts on body fat, she looks better. And from 18 to 21, 22, if she puts on body fat in the right area, she's going to look fantastic. She's going to go from a girl to a woman. She's going to be even thicker, wider hips, bigger boobs, bigger ass. She's just more attractive. She's had fun. If she's broke, nobody gives a shit. Whereas a guy who's broke, who's put on 4% body fat in 4 years, that's a problem. And then you go, wait, why do I feel depressed now? Why is my testosterone so low? Like, things used to be different. I used to go out partying, enjoy myself. These same girls don't really find me attractive anymore. They've moved on with other guys. Guys that stay in on a Saturday night and work on a business and their fitness. What the hell happens? And it's like, just that decline over 4 years. That's all it was. That's all it took. And if you're living that lifestyle of go out party, late night, alcohol, have a kebab or fast food at the end, wake up the next day, do nothing, masturbate yourself to oblivion and play video games, and then do the same next weekend, you do that 52 times every single Saturday for a year, forget the 1% creeper effect. That's more like 5 to 10% per year that you're declining by. So you could be 40% less better off than you were. You could be in 40% worse shape than you were 4 years ago. That's how crazy it can be when you actually drive it into the ground. But it's the most dangerous thing that can happen to men. It's terrible. It's so slow. It erodes you and you don't even realize that it's happening. And that's why so many men decline and they can't catch it. You know, you might look at somebody and be like, why does he go to the gym? Why doesn't he fix it? He doesn't see it. He doesn't see it because it's too slow to recognize. And then by the time it's enough to realize, it's almost too late. It's like hair loss. Apparently, before you even realize that you're losing your hair, you've already lost 50% of it. I would say, and that's 50, by the way, 50%. I would say it's the same for men's physiques, fitness. I would say it's the same for testosterone. I would say it's the same for success, anything like that. Who you are as a man, you probably don't realize until you've declined by about 50% to actually see the negatives. That's why people get to 40 and they go, got to 40, just had back pain, felt tired, all of this stuff started happening to me, and it's like, no, it's just an accumulation effect, you know. Ended up having like heart palpitations, the doctor said you got strokes, you know. It's just one of those things of getting older. A few of my friends have got it actually, and they're like, you better watch yourself. You're like, no, I see you drinking like 8 pints per night. I see you eating fast food non-stop. Like, if I'm just eating chicken and I'm just having eggs and I'm having vegetables and stuff, like how is that the same as you having like 7 desserts a week and 28 beers? How are we going to end up in the same position? If you're basically having spoonfuls of sugar every single day for 20 years, how in 20 years am I expected to have the same shit as you've got? It's the 1% creeper effect.